episode 10 with the Ocean, all the way from Berlin. Shout out to Bantering Ram from Unscene for having them over and hooking all of us up with a kick-ass India tour. So a lot of guys are going to see them live in action. So you tell me, guys, what's been up? How's it going? Your India visit so far? It's just started, right? I mean, you've been around here for longer, so how's it been so far, man?
Yeah, we've had a couple of days before the first show in Delhi yesterday to explore Jodhpur in the northeast. So we basically hired a car and a driver to drive us from Jodhpur to Delhi, and we were shooting for a video clip on the way. But that was just me, Loic, our singer, David, our other guitar player, and Craig, the guy that's also produced the Cambrian video. So there's going to be a second one coming very soon, which is partially shot in India. Giving away the secret here. But yeah, it's been absolutely overwhelming. It's been.
I heard it's for the album closer, right? It's for Permian,
exactly.
So it's a great dying.
It's a great dying filmed in the desert of Rajasthan. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it was a beautiful few days, and we found some great locations and just epic landscapes. We've had an intense amounts of spicy curries ever since we got here, which we all love very much, including this massive barbecue feast today. So yeah, we can't complain. We've been living very well. And yesterday's show was
northeast experience. Cool, I think. Did you all try the spicy curries over there? Because
yes, we tried a lot of Rajasthani specialties. Basically,
I'm jealous.
It's very easy for us because we're vegetarian, most of us in the band. So this country is perfect for us.
Yeah,
we always have the separated menus. So even if you don't know what it is, it's
all vegetarian.
It's like nothing can go wrong.
I think I was having a conversation with Paul before this, like how we have separate menus for vegetarians.
Yeah, exactly. In Germany, it's quite the opposite. You always have meat, and then you have to search and hunt for some vegetarian options.
Yeah, for some poor substitute veggie options. Like ideally,
potato.
Best case scenario.
We've got paneer. That's what's the
paneer.
That's
rules
chicken
the world. Definitely rules
the vegetarian world for sure. We got Paul. Paul's the drummer for the Ocean, and we got Robin. Robin's been with the band since day one, and so tell us how did it all begin? Like when you all started out, what was Europe like back then, and doing a I mean, your influences, from what I can gather, I'm sure you guys were huge into the Hydra Head sound and and Neurosis and these are bands that even me and Tabby are huge fans of So
I take a lot of inspiration.
But what was Europe like specifically? How was Germany in Berlin? You started in Berlin, right? So how was the scene back then? What were your peers doing?
Well, I'm not from Berlin originally. I'm from a small town in the west, so I moved to Berlin for the specific reason to play music and find people, like-minded people, which I couldn't find in my shithole that I was born in. So Berlin had a more vibrant scene at the time, but still it was very, very niche. And Hydra Head has definitely been a label I've followed very intensely. All the stuff since early Converge and Botch and everything they released, this awesome band Cable and Coalesce and all that stuff was definitely an influence in the early days of the band. Among a lot of other things, we've always have taken influence from various styles of music, from soundtrack music to classical music to obviously a lot of noise and metal, and I think all of that was woven into the fabric of this band from day one, though it took some time for the whole thing to, to develop and
to find its own
character and identity.
Right, and that happened I'd say around when you all did Aeolian and you all got the thematic bit in place. Was it then that you all found the theme? That.
Well, I would say that the first record, Fog Diver, which was released in 2003, there was already the sound of the band.
The sound was, the template
was already there. Actually, some of the songs on that EP were written later than some of the songs on Aeolian. By that time, I'd written so much material, but I just didn't have a label to release it. So then, once I had a deal, I decided to release the newer material, which was actually what ended up on Fog Diver, and to put some of the older tracks on hold. And some of those tracks, like Queen of the Food Chain, one of the oldest Ocean tracks ever written, for example, ended up on Aeolian. And Inertia as well. Inertia was written in 2001 or 2002, and it's a very early recording. So Yeah,
But
I would say that all
the scene
these
like?
releases were like kind of representative of where we were at that time.
Right. But how was Berlin like, in general? What were the other bands doing? Did you all stick out, like, as a band doing something vastly different from the rest? Like, what was the rest of Europe, like, into?
Yeah, we were a weird band.
Right.
Berlin was
I can imagine.
Berlin was more into hardcore and mathcore and stuff
Like
like
straight
that
up,
in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So I think the Ocean always stuck out a bit.
Yeah,
in terms of
we were too weird for the metalheads because we had like
exactly.
from the beginning we had classical players on stage with us. I remember the first show we ever played, we had a small brass section with like 2 trombones and a trumpet player on stage with us, and everyone was like, "What the fuck are these guys trying to do?"
And I think that's a cool bit, like, for our viewers, just to set some context here, over 19 years of existence now.
19 now.
Yeah, so the Ocean have collaborated with over of, I think,
30 to 40
people, like, over the course of time. I mean, like,
And they're not even from the same city.
Yeah,
They're
it's
from different countries.
It's part of the world, in fact, I'm sure. Like,
Mostly from different continents as well.
Yeah. And
I would actually like to know which number I am.
We can find it out.
I'm number 47. And then I get a little shirt with my number.
We'll make a shirt with a family tree.
That's a good t-shirt idea.
Yeah.
But how did that come about to be? Like, was it a conscious decision for you to make it a collaborative,
No, it was not. It was born out of the necessity of not having people that had the time and commitment in the early days, which was normal because as a band we had nothing to offer.
Right.
We had no booking agency, no label, no tours. We were just a shitty band in a rehearsal room. And at the same time the music was already challenging, so we needed good players.
Right.
And the good players, they were all already taken by bands that paid, had tours to offer, and we didn't. So that's why we had a lot of people like, oh yeah, this is cool, but then they lost interest.
Yeah.
And also people...
Wait, you don't pay me?
But how long do you think you all took to find your
joined at
footing?
a point when the band was in a very comfortable
Yeah,
spot.
absolutely, yeah.
My friend.
I'm not saying anything. No judgment here.
But so you finally have a sort of stable lineup, because for the last 2 albums at least, like not a lot
since
of people
Pelagic,
have changed since Pelagic.
Yeah, it feels very stable right now. I mean, that said, people's priorities in life change, and people want to have families or start career jobs at one point, and then things change. We've had a lot of different bass players still over the last couple of years. For example, Matthias has only been in the band since 2015.
Right.
But I hope this is gonna last. It feels very good. It feels like we're all in it for the same reasons, and also we're a bit older now, so we all appreciate
where you've
the
arrived.
privilege of being in this band that allows us to tour India and eat curries and get paid to do that.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
also to take into consideration it's like everyone's individual borders and limits, and to respect that and just say, okay, I better back off now in favor of like peace of mind and everything. Like, that's very important. And as a
touring musician,
and when I was in my 20s, I wasn't very good at that. I was always
I can tell.
Talking about India,
I've known Robin for more than 10 years already, because we toured together in 2007, I think.
Yeah.
And Robin was a different person back then. I mean, we all were, But I was just about to say, everyone in the band now is a very experienced musician somehow. We've all been doing this for
quite a while.
10 to 20 years, and we don't have this naive expectation of being rock stars or whatever.
Right.
Fulfilling ourselves in the band, we just want to have fun together, we want to write good music together and just enjoy being on tour, and there's not much of a big ego in the band.
Even like when I look at bands in India, it's bands who have stuck out for a decade or over, who really held their ground and did their thing, who really stand out today and deliver great energy shows and write great music and stuff. Is it no different, right? If you're a band in Germany and it takes time to build something.
Yeah, I think so.
It takes time to develop your capabilities,
your footing,
and your abilities to play your instrument and get an idea of what you want to do.
Right.
I mean, of course, that always still changes. It's not like I'm stuck in my path, but
also the trivialities of what touring entails, other than playing great shows to crazy crowds. That's like 1 hour of the day, but the day is 24 hours long, and the remaining 23 hours is getting along, sitting
to the next,
sitting in a nutshell van, looking at highways, and sleeping next to snoring bandmates. Or not sleeping next to snoring bandmates, and like all this type of stuff.
So what's the stuff about, like, 10 years ago that you wish you could relive, and what's better now? Like, what's changed?
Well, everything is better, basically. So that's good. Yeah. We're not looking back at the past thinking, oh, those days are gone.
Great,
like, everything's a lot better than 10 years ago, I have to say.
I mean, in the beginning,
you
just invest a lot of time and not money to make it work somehow, because you kind of have this idea of what you want to be as a band, and you do tours that don't pay off, and you do other things that don't pay off, and that sometimes leads to a lot of conflict, because when you tour for a month and you don't come back home with at least some money in your pocket, of course you have a lot of reasons to have arguments, know, and that, I don't know, as I said, we've all been through this. We kind of, we're in a state right now which actually allows us to not having to fight about this anymore. So that's a big privilege for us.
Yeah, shows are getting bigger. People are taking interest in parts of the world where we haven't previously
imagined.
Much.
Yeah.
I mean,
talking about that, this is your second time you are wearing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, about the craziness that happened in Bangalore last time.
People want to know what went down.
I have heard a lot of stories about it, but let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
Is it too painful? Do we need a round of beers? We need another round of beers.
We swore an oath to not tell about it. It's actually true. We had to. Yeah. It's a very long story. Even breaking it down would at least take an hour to tell. It was very Tarantino-esque. Including kidnapping and stuff like that. So
I can imagine, Robin's plight. I can see it on his face right now.
But the show that happened the next day was insane, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've heard high praises.
Being carried on the crowd, he jumped from the balcony.
So in a nutshell, we were supposed to play a festival that we ended up not playing because we were not getting paid. We had advanced flights and everything, and so that didn't happen. Then we ended up in a very, like Paul said, Tarantino-esque situation that involved the festival promoter supposedly running away with a lot of money, the other guy being very mad at him, the guy going missing, his wife coming to our hotel, telling us that he got kidnapped, and all these kinds of stories. And we were not allowed to leave our hotel because the hotel bill wasn't paid. So we were struggling to even get out to play the substitute gig, which we luckily found. Which was very great because finally we got to do what we came for. We got to play a show. Although not as part of this festival, we got to play a sweaty club show, which was awesome at Vapor, and I'm very happy that Salman made that happen.
Shout out to Salman. You should be heading to BAJAAO Bangalore Open Air next month to catch, on
we have
the best, the only metal, concert that happens in India, like an open air concert, and it's obviously it's associated Walker and stuff. So that's a great,
Let's hope we'll play that one day.
That'll be a good, return to India. I
mean, we're in good terms with India. Don't get us wrong. But it was just a very, very weird experience for us.
So to make up for it, how was the Delhi show?
Yeah, exactly. We want to know what.
Yeah, it was cool. It was
just starting of the show.
Yeah, it was a very solid start. Very good venue, super powerful PA, and it was a small but very caring crowd. And people were really into it, and it was great overall. It was really cool.
Awesome.
We had no idea what to expect from this. Like after the last experience, we knew it was gonna get better because Ram is just very hands-on.
I think you don't need to worry about that this time.
We had that impression from the beginning. But on the other hand, we've never toured here. We've never played any of these cities except Bangalore. So I had absolutely no idea what to expect from this.
Now you'll have a good time tomorrow. Trust me.
Very much looking forward to
it.
Yes. Do you see any difference in the crowds from what are in Europe and from here? Like any difference?
Are we more enthusiastic perhaps?
I can't tell after one show.
Because I've heard Germans they like to just
it depends on the depends on the crowd. We recently played a show in Munich that was
crazy,
which is really, I don't know, not normal for Munich because Munich is very
chilled out,
rather conservative.
Stick up your ass.
So it always depends on the day. You can have very strict non-movement shows and shows that are like back in the day.
Right.
That was like a back in the days hardcore show.
Absolutely,
It was like
nice.
stage divers until the front of house, and it was crazy. But I think it's also that we're, as a band, we somehow polarize our audience. Like there's the people that are more into post-rock and ambient instrumental music, so they will stand there and close their eyes and get really immersed.
Right.
And then there's the people that want to rock out and the metalheads. And sometimes I get the impression that people don't really know how to behave, which is very interesting, you know, because it's just such
People don't know how to behave anymore.
That's what it is. Yeah, and it's weird, like looking at the crowd because it's so diverse, you know, and there's like also the like just looking at what band shirts people wear. And I think that's very interesting because it kind of reflects who we are as well, and like there's so many different influences.
I think it's also to do with like how listenership has changed over the wide now. Everyone listens to everything. It's all like eclectic mix of, you know, all kinds of things that people are. So people are into, you know, a wide variety of genres. There's so many cross-genre festivals happening and stuff. So I think that's a good.
That's a really cool development.
There was this German guy at the show yesterday, like a really tall northern German guy.
Ulf
the one like with the jeans jacket.
Oh yeah, he's got the denim jacket. Yeah, that should be him. Yeah.
And the first thing he said, "I don't really like your music, but it was a great show."
Yeah, that's definitely.
Ulf's an old school guy.
That's
German
a very
compliment.
German thing to do.
Yeah,
that's definitely.
I don't like your music, but you guys rock. Thanks.
Yeah, let's hope that, you know, we've got more kick-ass shows lined up, so you should definitely be checking them out. There's another great lineup happening in Bangalore. We've got Pandora's Box, Flaw and Order, new band, and we've got ORCHID, who've got a new release out. So let me cut into Haramcore plays here. We're going to be playing an ORCHID track for you guys of Miasma. This one's called Obsolescence. You're listening to Haramcore Inc. Stay Haramcore.
Shine.
on Haramcore Inc. with the Ocean, talking about their India tour, and actually going back a bit in the past, talking about your previous releases, and my favorite, the dual album, Anthropocentric and, Heliocentric. So the thought that went into it like really blew me. I think that was my introduction to you guys. And I'd say it probably broke you guys into a larger space, globally in a way. So what was your take on, like, how did you all go about it, writing and stuff?
Well, there was a transition phase for the band because we lost our former vocalist, Mike Pilot, before starting to record Heliocentric and Anthropocentric, who were recorded at the same session, basically. Right. And so there was kind of like a new beginning, and I wanted to have a vocalist that was able to deliver cleans for a while, actually. And now that Mike had quit the band, like he could do that, but he was more like a screamer, and like, that was like his territory where he felt comfortable. And so I was specifically starting to look for a guy that could deliver something else, and that took quite a while until we found Loic, actually. But yeah, once we did, it really opened up a lot of new doors, and that's why Heliocentric was a very transitional record for us. I think like it's very experimental as compared to Precambrian and the previous kind of like
those were really sludgy
that the Ocean had developed and then there was like this breach with like very quiet songs like Catharsis of a Heretic or Ptolemy Was Wrong, that really were thriving off the vocals and the vocal lines, and were actually written with vocal melodies from the get-go. That was the first time I'd ever done that. Like before that I was always just writing music and then throwing vocals on top at the end. Which is kind of what we've done with the
But I'd like to draw a parallel to like even the themes that you all did. So it was the formation of the earth and like the stages of the earth's how it changed over the years, like the geology and like
Precambrian.
Yeah, all of that from Aeolian to Precambrian.
Yeah.
So and then you shifted from that to talking about the human perspective of God and like the divine perspective of earth and like the state of humankind in general. So that's the themes that you all played about with.
I wanted to make a record that is like a critique of Christianity, basically. Discussing it from all different kinds of philosophical angles, and that, as usual, didn't fit onto one slab of record, so it had to be two. And there was a lot of material written at the time too, and that. Like the idea to do that was there from the beginning. However, the individual lyrics were all written after the music was there. The only time that was really different was Pelagic. That was the only record where the whole music was actually written with the idea, like a conceptual idea in mind, because the music was supposed to do that transition. That's the record, that's this journey from the surface to the bottom of the sea. And I wanted the music to gradually get slower and like deeper in tuning as you're progressing towards the abysses of the deep sea. So that was like written as one long song with that thing in mind. All the other Ocean records were basically individual songs written, and then the conceptual like backbone was kind of like shoved in after the songs were already there somehow.
But it kind of made sense, for me as a listener, because like I said, like the older stuff is more sludgy. It's more like more metal and heavier and like really,
I think you would still have fans who would come in and say, "Yeah, I like the old Ocean better."
You
always have these people.
Especially at that time, like when Heliocentric came out. We got a lot of shit from fans. Like
for what though?
Well, just people saying that this is
you're
not
selling
metal
out
anymore. Just like
selling out.
It wasn't really that much the sellout thing. It was more like this is not metal.
This is not metal.
Like, and I was like, but we were never a metal band in the first place, so fuck you. And then there was all this discussion on Last FM, and I remember that.
There was
like 5 or 6 people always giving shit, and then
discussions.
every single one of them ordered the box set of the record after giving us tremendous amounts of shit. So then I was like, all right, whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's in the nature of things. If you change your course a little bit, or you experiment, or you progress, you will not be able to take all of your fans with you. Some of them will be like, this is not for me anymore, and that's totally fine.
But you also get a lot of new fans.
Exactly. Then other people will come in, and eventually, I think now we're in a position where the people that have followed us over the years, they appreciate that they don't exactly know what to expect from the next record, and that it always involves like a a fairly eclectic
mix of everything.
I was pretty surprised with the new album actually because it is very different from what you all have done before.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But on the other hand, for me, it feels like it very much connects with Precambrian.
It does.
Minus the vocals, you know. But that's where we are as a band now, having Loic as a vocalist for almost 10 years. But if you listen to the instrumental version, like I think it has that Precambrian.
Oh vibe. Yeah, you all have an instrumental.
But Precambrian was very different from Pelagial, the previous record, and you know, so this is kind of like different from that again. It's not gone more proggy and over the top, but more like. Boiling it down to the essence, I think that's what we've been trying to do with this record.
It's like colossal riffs and
exactly.
Yeah, it's very anthemic as well.
Yeah.
So
thanks.
You know, my guess was when Ram mentioned to me that like there's a new Ocean record coming. So like y'all have spoken about like the Earth's formation and like the depths of the depths of the ocean. I think it's going to be the sky and the space next. It's going to be like, you know, the stratosphere and the ionosphere.
What's in the sky? We already discussed it with heliocentric.
Yeah, you actually did.
There's nothing in the sky.
Yeah, there is no God. There is no God. Very very Nietzschean.
That won't work, you see.
But yeah, moving forward, so you know, now this is once again a double record coming from the Ocean. When's the next one slated?
Well, we have to get back to it, huh?
Yeah, we have to work on it.
We have recorded already drums, guitars.
Right.
We still have to track bass.
That's Phanerozoic 2.
That's right.
And is there a additional title in yet, or is it unannounced?
Yeah, the subtitles are like the respective geological eras.
Right.
So part one was Paleozoic. So part two is actually going to be part 2 and part 3.
Okay.
It's Mesozoic and Cenozoic. The next two.
Right.
Huh. But they will be released.
The dinosaur nerd in me just awoke.
It's the dinosaur record.
Yeah, it's a dinosaur record.
Yeah. Dinosaur merchandise. You'll get it all. It'll all be there. Yeah. Trust me on that. Yeah, so it's partially recorded, like the music is written.
Nice.
But we have to work on the vocals mainly, and we have to find the time to do that because we'll be touring a lot this year, doing summer festivals, and
I saw there's been a lot of appreciation for, you know, the release, and I think it's the body of work that you all have built over so many years. Like you said, you've struggled so much in the initial years, and then you all broke out, and then now like you've got Metal Blade backing you guys for like over a decade or so, right? Yeah. And that, I think all those things have really helped you guys break, you know, into that global audience.
Yeah, it just takes time also.
Takes time.
If you do something good and right, you just have to keep doing it, and eventually people will pick it up or not. And we're not doing it for that. We're doing it because you love guys doing it. We feel it's right.
Right.
And if other people like it, that's great, you know. But yeah, things sometimes take time. But I'm very happy with the general reception of it, and people seem to be getting it now, you know, which took some time, but that's fair enough. We're a complicated band.
So after India, y'all are heading to Australia and New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
So that will be another month or so of touring?
It's not that much. It's just like
across a month.
Yeah. It's like 5 shows in Australia and then 3 in New Zealand actually.
Any Europe or US tour lined up yet?
We're working on that, but nothing definite is locked
touring
down
in Europe in March, April. Yes, Downfall of Gaia and Herod.
Oh, nice.
Who's actually featuring Mike Pilot.
Oh, okay.
The former Ocean vocalist on Precambrian. Yeah,
right.
He has a new band called Herod that we're releasing on Pelagic.
Oh, right, yeah. Just want to touch base on Pelagic. So, that's you know, it's uncanny how we just connected back to that.
I was about to get there. So how did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, like it's
like just for heads up, I think Paul and
both of you all work together on it. So
on Pelagic Records, they have amazing bands like Mono. God is an Astronaut, all on Pelagic Records. God is an Astronaut, Mono, and
Cult of Luna.
And Tiny Fingers all recently played India.
Tiny Fingers played India, yeah. God is an Astronaut.
God is an Astronaut.
Yeah, they did very recently.
Mono as well.
Oh, yeah,
all in the span of
Mono did a
months,
one-off gig in the Northeast.
That was the first time ever they played India.
I
was surprised.
It took a while to get
It's like all in a span of the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And now we have the ocean.
Yeah. It's the pelagic invasion of your subcontinent. That's what's happening. There you go. Yeah, there'll be more.
But how's the label doing? How did it
it come about, and
how's it been all through the years?
It came about by us wanting to re-release our Fluxion record, which Metal Blade didn't want to do at that time.
Okay.
So like Andreas told me, why don't you do it yourself? And I was like, okay, fair enough. So I did the pressing myself. They hooked me up with some distribution contacts, and that's how the whole thing started. And then I found pleasure in releasing records, and there was another band that I really liked that I really wanted to release, which was a complete monetary failure. But the band is great.
Yeah, I know.
And then the third release was Goddess and Astronauts, All is Violent, All is Bright. So that one worked, and yeah, that's how it slowly started. And over the first 5 or 6 years, it's been something that I've been doing on the side.
Right.
Like while being on tour, every now and then a release, but especially in the last 3 years since Paul joined, we've been pushing up.
Don't know how that correlates.
So how do you assign roles in running the?
Well, I just started at some point because he needed some help with customer emails, and I just thought, well, half an hour a day.
You're the people guy.
Yeah, and as our other colleague Steve, who is taking care of distributors, just didn't have the time to work on that anymore.
Right.
And I thought, well, half an hour a day can't hurt. And then I just slowly got into doing graphics and taking care of anything digital, pretty much.
All right.
Preparing releases, the graphics side, and
social media
stuff.
Of course.
It basically grew out of a basement operation. Like it was my old apartment in the basement, and then we had this Pelagic acrylic box set, which didn't. I totally underestimated the logistics of that. We ordered like 26 tons of.
Not that you learn of it.
From
China. That sounds familiar to
All of a sudden, I had 26 euro pallets that definitely didn't fit in, and then we had to find like a new space. And then Steve joined like 5 years ago. In the beginning, I was packing all the parcels myself, and I couldn't do that anymore. And then after that, Paul joined, and then Ruby joined, and now we're like. Around
That's quite DIY.
Now they're a proper team who does a festival together.
Yeah, that's the cool part. Now there's
now they have a Pelagic
Fest. Yes.
Yeah, in the 3rd edition this year actually.
That's great, man. Congratulations, please.
Yeah, so it's still a DIY operation somehow, but it's grown and it keeps growing, and we're actually in a position now that we really need to hire someone else.
Nice.
Because we just don't get by with
especially when
you're
on tour.
I was just about to come to that. How do you manage that with like your touring schedules and stuff?
Well, we can work remotely. Like we're digital nomads basically. Like we can work on our laptops
Who isn't now?
Or whatever. So
I just saw his
the laptop charger.
Laptop charger power bank.
It's like huge.
It's 4 battery loads in there.
The huge charger fridge. I mean, it's a privilege to be able to work on tour.
Right.
But at the same time, you have your limits of time because you need to focus on other things. And to some degree it's possible, but we just noticed that we need some help.
The reason why we released so much, like the last 2 years, we've had an average 15, 16 releases per year.
That's great.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like I like the other day I was looking at our catalog numbers. I was like, have we really released 130 records already?
Wow,
that's crazy.
That's massive.
Crazy.
We have. Yeah, we have.
That's
and
nice.
the reason why we have done so much in the last 2 years is also because the Ocean was not that active.
Right.
Because we were kind of between albums. We finished the Pelagic touring cycle in 2013.
Right.
And then in 2004. No.
14 to
2015 actually,
15,
yeah. So in 2016, 2017, we only did like a couple of gigs here and there, so we had a lot of time to devote to the label.
Right.
But now the Ocean is becoming very active again. We're touring a lot, so it's like it's becoming tight. So we really need to we need support.
Right. So you know whom to hook up with if you want a job in Berlin. Shout out to all of us. Yes. Send your CVs. Send your CVs.
Yeah, but also, I mean, it just, in the last couple of years, it got easier to work on tour as well because you have good Wi-Fi everywhere.
Yeah. In Europe, you have like flat rates everywhere, so you can really just like answer emails out of the bus. It's easy.
Are you all doing that here as well?
I haven't bought a SIM card yet, and I've just noticed for those 4 days in Rajasthan how lost we are without Wi-Fi. It's fucking terrible, really.
Very dependent on it.
Very dependent, and then it's not very common, and we didn't buy Indian SIM cards, so we were just cut off for a few days, which is a nice feeling. But then the price for being as free as to live in.
Yeah, but
in
it also
any
get kind
part
of
the
crazy,
world
right?
is
Oh
that
my
we have to have
there's
that
so much
access.
work to do as soon as I get back to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of talk about work. How about unwinding? What plans in India? What are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to like catching some beers and
Yes.
like,
Any interesting acts that you all
got
any
recommended
bands
by
heard that you all enjoyed?
Well, to be honest, I haven't had much of a chance to check out the support bands that we'll be playing with, but I will be checking them out live.
Did you check out IOish yesterday?
Yeah, they were great.
They were great.
Very good band.
Really good.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
Post-rock's
because
grown
post-rock is
huge
grown,
in
yeah,
India.
huge
There's
in
a
India.
lot of listeners who love that style, and I think they'll find something that they'd like in your music as well.
Definitely
And the
like
metalheads will
my favorite
obviously.
post-rock band from this country.
Yeah.
Is IOish for sure.
Yeah.
I was really surprised. That band would have a bright future if they were based in Europe. Like that was spot on. It was really good.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure are you hearing that?
And Indian bands are eventually getting out now. You know, we had, as we keep searching, playing Pelagic Fest this year actually, and also in
They
other
all also
realms,
played
there's
Dung together, right?
Sky Harbor are from India.
Sky
too.
Harbor, yeah.
Playing with them
Like,
in
Australia.
Australia,
Most of the
we're playing
members
with
are
them, so
yeah.
that's cool. That's for us, from the Pelagic perspective. Again, we signed a lot of bands from Australia and New Zealand and like faraway places, but it's very difficult because it's so expensive to get them to tour,
And
and we won't sell records if a band doesn't tour. You
Right.
know, so we kind of rely on the bands being so sufficient that they take care of their own business in a way that they manage to get out, and take care of booking and getting shows done. And well, it seems to be happening now with a few bands from India. So here's to hoping there'll be more.
Yeah, let's hope for more of that happening.
Yeah.
More Europe tours, more van tours, more beer.
More lack of sleep.
And with regards to winding down, we're very much looking forward to like the 3 days off we have before the Guwahati show.
Oh, nice.
We're planning to go to Kasiringa,
Oh, Kaziranga,
chasing rhinos.
Yeah.
I already see this selfies.
Rhino cam.
Let's see how that goes.
That's a very prehistoric animal.
Oh,
so it
yeah,
fits
yeah,
the
that-
album
that-
concept
you'll
personally.
get some inspiration
I can
there.
see the band pictures happening there, yeah.
You could probably write some riffs there and take it back
Yeah,
home with you.
Riding rhinos.
So yeah, man, that's pretty much it on Haramcore Inc. with The Ocean. Thank you guys for taking the time out and being a part of this. Really appreciate it. Really looking
You all are
forward
the
to.
first international band that
Yeah, I
we
know,
had
it's-
on a
yeah,
podcast.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the podcast.
And
It's
this
a
is
big
our
thing for
second
us.
season, so
Yeah, this
like,
is the season
new year,
2.
new band.
New me, new people. Yeah, meeting a lot of guys. So yeah, thank you so much, Robin.
Thanks, man. Thank you guys for the
Thank you,
exposure, and see you tomorrow.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
And
also
exposure. Yes, thank you for being part of this. And cheers to Ram, cheers to Unscene,
Unscene.
and that's pretty much it on Haramcore Inc. Cheers and stay Haramcore.